Hi crafty friends, Amanda here with Crafting with Amanda, and welcome to Makers with Heart Mystery Envelope Challenge for March 2020. This month, Katie sent us our instructions, and on the envelope, I left it on here, says, "So, are you still having those fantasies about the mailman?" My husband brought this into me, and he was just cracking up. It was awesome. So she sent us pieces from the StoryBook collection, and I must say, I'm sorry to everybody out there that loves this collection. It was not on my list. I didn't buy any of it. I have several paper packs from years gone by that I have purchased and not used, and I thought this would go into that category. But now that I've used it, all right, it's a good paper pack. Katie asked us with what she sent that we could add any colors that are in the StoryBook collection, and that she wanted us to create an interactive element to our project. I do interactive elements. I really like them. I typically come up with them more of naturally, I'll call it, just as I'm working on a layout and the journaling's going to be long, or I have a bigger story to tell with the photos. So this one, it was kind of backwards for me in that I was looking for the photos that I could do interactive with. And then the one thing that I thought was kind of clever, and I must be embracing my inner Katie with Twisted Sister, because I turned this striped paper from the StoryBook collection into music staff, which, if you know me at all, music is a big part of my life. I have sung in different venues in several different states. I have been a part of church choirs and featured soloist, and so music is a big part of my life. So I did add some of the black glitter cardstock, and I don't know that black is a color in the paper pack listed as a color, but Katie sent us a piece of the black glitter paper, so I felt perfectly comfortable adding more of it to make these music notes. There you saw I was thinking of doing a mixed media thing where I was going to use watercolor paints and kind of do a flowy staff from one side to the other of the colored pattern papers, but then I decided that wasn't it. And I share these, I want to say that's not the direction I went in, the false starts of this layout with you, more to just give you inspiration for what you might do on your next layout. And it's okay if your first idea isn't the one that you want to go with. Just dust it off, clear off the desk, and move on. So here, as you saw, I drew a line on the Paprika cardstock, and I chose Paprika and the HoneyButter cardstock as well as the mist, because that's what worked with the colors of my photos. This is where, just so you know the story, I was the director of a newly reformed community chorus when we were in Michigan, and this was our second Christmas concert. I had actually 2 weeks prior, maybe 3 weeks prior to this concert, had surgery, pretty intensive surgery, so I had to have a chair to sit on to make sure that I could make it through the concert. But instead of putting all of these photos on a double layout or with pocket pages, I have been putting my albums together, and I have a lot of scrapbook pages and I have a lot of albums, and I actually am enjoying the fact that I am getting more photos on one layout to minimize how many layouts or pages are going to be in each album, and yet still tell more of the story, because I'm not sure what my kids are going to do with all of these pages. And for us, it's great to tell the story, and I can do that in a consolidated space. I do have to say that Katie had mentioned to not use flip flaps for our interaction, and as you can see there, I pulled out one of the pocket pages that just go right in your postbound album or your D-ring album, and I cut it down thinking that I was going to add one photo in that way, because it's not a flip flap. I do end up taking that out, spoiler alert. And here, as you can see, I put the one photo down that I wanted as my base on this interactive element. And then I cut 4-inch strips out of the MISTI cardstock and glued them together, but I tried to glue them so that the seam was a little offset, and also I folded it based on the first photo on the... I will say a lot of this layout was kind of disjointed. I had interruptions and things coming at me. Our oldest was at work and went to leave work, and thankfully was leaving work kind of early. He normally works and closes, but he went out to his car and the car wouldn't start, kind of with a dead battery, and he was asking about jumper cables and how you hook them up, and that he was parked in between 2 cars and didn't know how that was all going to work. And thankfully, the long and short of it is somebody came along in the car beside him, but it was a brand new car where the battery is all encased. So there's just posts in the engine and you have to figure out where those are for positive and negative. And it was just a cute thing. But there were several phone calls in between me trying to do this layout. So what I'm doing here is I went and typed up all of my journaling with who the people are in the choir and kind of the story of the cookies and being a community event. And so I was putting that in as another interactive element so you can slide with the pull tab out who's in the photo. And I went ahead and used the Life's a Hoot Cardmaking stamp set, and I'm just going to give some random stamping background interest to this. The HoneyButter cardstock by itself was just a little too stark. Like I said, originally I was thinking I was going to do some mixed media with some music staff kind of floating in, but that I went in a different direction, so I just needed something to kind of bring some noise to the back of this. I have the mist is the big, star, and then I use Paprika for the little star, and I am using, I believe, black for the splatters of dots. And I'm just auditioning here. I went ahead and put glue on the back of that, so now that's anchored and I can start seeing where other things are going. It was funny with all of these photos, I really had to think about which ones I wanted to highlight and feature, and I decided that it would be good to show the trio. We did one song in the middle because the choir, again, was being so new. We didn't have enough music to fill a full 45 minutes of music. So I did a trio with those other 2 ladies, and then I put a quartet together with 3 other people, and we kind of practiced on the side in addition to our regular practices. And here's all that journaling I was talking about that I typed up, and I'll realize that all of that needs to be matted in black. So I will do that and come back and show you kind of the direction I'm going in here. And like I said, it was all kind of disjointed at this point of what I wanted in different places and how I was going to incorporate colors. And I'm still not happy with the cookie picture and how that's all going to work. And I knew there was all the backside of this interactive accordion fold. So here I've decided, okay, the cookies I can cut in half. There's kind of a breaking point there. Here you can see I've matted the journaling and that cookie photo in black. It's at this point that it's almost like my body goes, oh, we know where we're going with this. We have the direction. So it's all kind of coming together, which was nice. I did go ahead and glue the music notes onto that striped paper in the bottom right corner, and then I intend to use that as a pocket. Not sure what's going to go in there now. Originally I was thinking all the journaling. I have a couple photos that need to be put somewhere. And then I do have extra music notes. I just cut a whole sheet of them because if I don't use them for this layout, I know that they will get used on a card or a background or something because, music is just a part of who I am. My kids used to say, Mom, stop singing when we were in the car. And my answer would be, I can't. It's just who I am. This is the mom God gave you. And they would roll their eyes. But now they're older and they've just gotten to the point that they don't even ask because they know mom's just got to sing. And here I took that paper that I had kind of ripped apart, again with the mixed media thought in mind, and I'm using that to tie in the colors from the front of the layout into the interactive elements of the layout. And I did have the one zip strip that Katie sent, and it reminded me of the tablecloth underneath the cookies, so that's why that particular journaling has the zip strip offset behind it instead of black. These are just, it's funny, I never would have mixed and matched my my matting, let's say, like everything would be in black or everything would be in white or everything would be in one color, and I wouldn't have allowed myself to kind of let the photos guide me. And here I'm showing you, I know somewhere in my memorabilia stash I have a program from this concert. And so I'm using this piece of printer paper as my marker for that program. I have a list of all of the memorabilia and it's categorized, but it's on my old computer that got packed away last April as we were getting ready to sell the house in California. And as of yet, my husband was going to pull that hard drive, but he didn't have a mount to put it in. So now he's putting it back into the computer, and we need to set it back up so I can copy all the files off. But I know I have that program, and I will look up where it is and add it to this layout later down the line. These are poinsettias that I've had in my embellishment stash for a couple of years now. And even though they're not the paprika color, they're in cranberry, which is just a little bit more red than the paprika. And I think they work fine here. So again, with it being a Christmas concert, I'm okay with having the nod to the traditional Christmas flower. And I was trying to mix things up by putting some of the music notes in there, kind of breaking up that edge of paprika and poinsettia. And to do that even more, I decided to grab the Dana Weekly sprays, and I just chose white, and I wanted to cover the photos, but anything else I was okay with it getting on. I'm just doing a few areas. I'm not necessarily going from one side to the other, but I'm also not doing a full coverage. There will be some areas that don't have the spray on them. And as I was going to go through and show you, okay, here's what I put in the pocket with the little tabs on the top. And again, I put who's singing in those photos. I'm opening this up and realizing, oh, this needs some of that white spray as well. So again, I just add my matte. This spray, fair warning, if you use it, anything that it gets on, it's there permanently. So I got really lucky in that I saw that dot right away on the photo, so I was able to wipe it off with my finger. But this is something that if it gets on, it stays on. I haven't found any successful way of removing it. And just going to cover these photos again, and this is just a pattern that I had used for a card kit a while ago, and so I always reuse my things, so that's what that is under my hand. And if you want that pattern, there is a video with those patterns right there. So here you can see photos of the layout, how the splatters just really kind of help break things up, and that glitter paper. This just tells the story, and it'll be fun and interactive in the layout. Be sure to check out what all the other makers with heart did for the mystery envelope. There'll be a playlist underneath the description as well as a supply list. Send some love, like their videos, and have a blessed day.